Welcome to the EmpowerLA Podcast. This is your host, Brett Shears from the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. This is part 2 of a special episode that includes a dozen interviews recorded live at the EmpowerLA Awards in the City Hall Rotunda. We discuss a range of topics from innovation in neighborhood councils to homelessness and youth engagement. This episode contains complete interviews of all the guests, with future episodes focusing on specific issues. Again, recording a podcast like this was a bit tricky, but things went well. I hope you enjoy what this diverse group of guests had to say. Thanks. So welcome to the EmpowerLA Awards, the special EmpowerLA podcast. What's your name and your affiliation in the neighborhood councils?
Well, good evening. It's great to be here. My name is Robert Newman. I'm the Vice President of Administration for the Downtown Los Angeles Neighborhood Council.
So we're here. We're in your home turf.
Yeah, you're in our barrio here. Yeah.
So you could probably kick me out of here if you wanted to.
Well, I don't think so. I think you have a little seniority.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I got a badge. I got
with
a badge.
The department that oversees my neighborhood council. So
it's all right.
I'm gonna go easy on you.
You've got some pull, though. Don't sell yourself short. Okay. So the theme of the EmpowerLA Awards is innovative civic engagement. So we're really asking people, what kind of innovations have you seen out in this neighborhood council system, whether from your own neighborhood council or just out there in the world?
Well, there's so much going on. I mean, to me, first of all, that amazes me is that, this is a volunteer position.
Right.
And people put a lot of time into it, and they really care about their community. They're really passionate about community. I've been all over the United States, and I think this is the best system I've ever seen for civic engagement, really. So credit to the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment and the people who got this on the charter and put it together. But, some of the things I've seen, especially in the arena I work, which is the homelessness. I mean, that's probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, social issue we have presently at our time. And I have to tell you that it's remarkable what some of the people are doing. We're doing a lot, but what really stood out for me, for example, was Los Feliz. They, have a neighborhood community. They get to go around and they engage the homeless encampments, and I've heard great stories coming out of that. As a matter of fact, at the Homeless Liaison meeting, they did a presentation, and I just have to take my hat off to Jana Kim and all those folks over there. Because I think that's a wonderful way of going about it. And that's close to my heart because I do a homeless outreach project Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. right here in the historic core downtown. Right. And I've been working in this area for over 12 years now. So anytime the community is going out and embracing the homeless people that are in their community, because whether you live in a loft, whether you have a business, or you're sleeping on the street, you're still part of the community, and I think that's really great. Now to toot our horn, the Downtown Neighborhood Council, and we have a submission tonight for the awards, and we'll see how it all plays out. But most importantly, we have a service map, and we've been doing it for several years now, which is not only for the people in the community, for the homeless community or the people living in SROs, but also for the case managers. It's a great tool for them to be able to say, okay, this is where Department of Mental Health is, this is where county hospital is, this is where the SSI office is, or food stamps, et cetera. And so we put that out and we give it away for free, 10,000 plus circulation, and give it to all the social service agencies and that we can possibly think of.
And that fits under this broader heading that I've seen people talk about innovations, neighborhood council. Do you think that's one of the main functions of neighborhood councils is to kind of get information out to its people and connect people to these services and these things that they don't really know about?
Most definitely. I think it's definitely a responsibility to get the information out. It's also a responsibility to bring the information into City Hall as well.
Sure, exactly.
And I think that, and it starts obviously with listening, so, whether it's a committee or an ad hoc committee, whatever way that you can get in front of your constituents, the community, and take information and formulate some things for the community and bring it back to City Hall is a great thing. But I think, us being used, especially with this issue of, like I said, with homelessness, for the neighborhood council, since we're grassroots, we're right on the streets. Right. I think that's really, really important for us to educate ourselves and disseminate information.
Yeah, so you talked about all these great innovations that are happening in downtown and elsewhere. Is there anything in the system that you want to see, innovations that that you've heard that really either aren't being implemented or something new altogether? Anything out there that comes to mind?
Well, I just like to see, I mean, we do some trainings, obviously on the nuts and bolts, the Brown Act and how to fulfill our elected position and do it well. But I'd really love to see, some more trainings in every aspect of civic engagement or how the government operates. Now, of course, we do have the Congress of Neighborhoods, which is fabulous. Lots of panels, lots of great presentations or whatever. And we do have the planning department that's doing Planning 101 that's coming up. And those are great. But the more education, the better. Because, some of us are going to go on to higher political office, like Ron Galperin and was Garcetti in the neighborhood council? I'm not sure. I know
not Garcetti, but David Rue was in the neighborhood council.
David Rue, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. But so some of us are going to go on. But regardless of whether you go on to a higher political office or not, it's important for us to know as much as we can because so we. Like I said, it can be the best we can be out there in the field.
So you started talking about how important it is to people to recognize that we are volunteers, right? This is the volunteer system. Given that, what brought you to this chaos, this madness, and what keeps you going? What is it about this system that really attracts you to it?
Well, I came to downtown. It was kind of bittersweet, how I came to downtown, and then of course I realized that the biggest thing is that you can complain about things, you can blog on Facebook, and you can talk about this and that. But the key thing is, if you really want to make change, you got to be involved. And sometimes that's a slow, arduous process, but you have to be involved.
Right.
If I'm going to sit up here and say I don't like this, the police is not enough foot beats, and the ambulance response is slow, or the trash pickups, whatever it may be. You know what? The best way to address something is not just whine about it, but to come up with proactive solutions, be a part of the process, and that's what the neighborhood council system affords. I think it's fantastic. So, like I said, I didn't want to be a whiner. I'd rather be a doer. So
thank
here
you,
I am.
Thank you, Bob, for being involved. We definitely appreciate your presence. I think that's what we're here today, is to honor the people who are really being involved. So, if you had any parting thoughts or anything, if not, have a great time. Good luck tonight.
Well, I just think I just want to, again, just extend whoever wins tonight this award, congratulations to them. But everybody that's here deserves an award because, like I said, they're doing some very, very special things in the community, and it's not easy. And including you guys. You guys got a lot of work to do up there in the 20th floor of City Hall, and everybody is really trying their best. There's, it's not going to be perfect, but, we just got to keep plugging away at it.
Thanks so much, Bob. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So tell us your name and your neighborhood council affiliation, and get as close as you can to the mic.
Okay. So my name is Ashley Neyra, and I'm on the Van Nuys Neighborhood Council.
Great. Well, thanks for coming, Ashley. Thanks for doing the interview. Our theme this year for the EmpowerLA Awards is Innovative Civic Engagement. I know you're relatively new to the neighborhood council, but what kind of innovations have you seen, whether at your neighborhood council at Van Nuys or in others? What kind of things are they doing that are interesting?
I think one thing that we do a lot is we put a lot of emphasis on the outreach committee. So that really helps us get a closer connection to the community and help them become aware of the events, because it's great to have all these events, but if people don't really know about it, then that doesn't really do anything.
Yeah. No, outreach is incredibly important. I'm on the outreach and communications team at EmpowerLA. So this is something that we're trying to do. I don't know how many young people listen to podcasts or not.
Yeah.
I hope they do, but I still don't know if it's the most digestible format. But well, yeah, that's great. And you were saying a little earlier about you guys participate in the Summer Night Lights. Mm-hmm. So is that something that you've seen that's maybe been effective?
Right. So once again, we rely heavily on the outreach committee to host that, and we hosted in Delano Park, which is this park in Van Nuys is really like the only one we have, and it needs a lot of love.
Yeah.
But it's great to see all these kids come out, and we have youth volunteers there, and it's all really nice.
So how did you get introduced to this whole system? What was your first exposure to neighborhood councils?
Right. So I joined the Civic Youth Academy, which is hosted here in City Hall. Mm-hmm. And after that, I did my own research on neighborhood councils, and I realized Van Nuys has an open seat coming up, and just made myself available.
You seized that opportunity when you saw it. Lily Larson, one of your counterparts of the Civic Youth, came earlier. Her board didn't even have a seat, so they kind of had to create it, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. But they had it. Had it been vacant for long? Do you know, or was it just coming open as you were kind of looking into the system?
Right. So mine was actually occupied by the time I started getting involved.
Interesting.
And so I just went to the meetings every single month, even still, just to hear what's going on.
Oh, cool.
And then eventually they said, hey, this is Austin Noel's last meeting. And then bam, I was like, hey guys, I'm here. I've been here.
Yes.
And they let me in.
That's exactly the right approach because it's effective about 99% of the time. Because when you demonstrate commitment like that, it's hard to say no because you've been there. They recognize your face. At some point you probably introduced yourself or asked a question. Mm-hmm. I think that's really an important lesson for people to take to heart. So, there's a lot of energy around, people are talking about like a youth movement right now. Mm-hmm. Where do you think the neighborhood councils fit into all that? How can young people use the neighborhood councils to, be engaged and tackle these big issues that people are dealing with, young people are dealing with?
Once again, I feel like the youth seat is a really good platform for for young people like me to get involved in their community. Mm-hmm. However, it is one seat, so making sure that the representative that is a youth is going out to like high schools and communicating with other youths and getting them involved also, even if they don't have a board seat. I feel like that's really important, and especially like at-risk youth in neighborhoods that are economically disadvantaged or like socially disadvantaged. It's really important to make sure that youth seat is there and is a platform for someone.
So there's this, like you said, there's this problem of there being only one seat. Are there other ways for young people to get involved and not necessarily be on the council?
Most definitely. Like, we host a lot of events, and even if you're not on the board, you can still come in and volunteer. Mm-hmm. And I feel like youth really do want to get involved. They always do. They just don't necessarily know how to, or they're afraid that they're going to be rejected. But if, for the youth representatives to go out there and be like, hey, come in, then I feel no one would reject that.
Yeah. You think there's something we can do to just make them feel like they're more welcome or something like that?
I think just having the youth seat is like a chance in showing that we're welcome to having more kids come into the board and participate. As far as, once again, just outreach. I know one neighborhood has like their own separate committee that's like a youth advisory council. Right. If more neighborhoods did something like that with the high schools in their neighborhood, and that could be really effective as well.
Yeah, that's great. That's great thinking. So you're kind of new into the system. You're easing your way in. But what is it about the system that you think is going to keep you involved and going into the future? Because you're on the youth seat now, but hey, you may take on another seat in the future as you get more involved. What is it about this system that makes you want to dedicate your energy to it?
Right. It's the community. I want to make sure that we always have a voice in city council and in city government. And I want to make sure that we're always improving, because there's always room for improvement, and that we have our presence known.
Yeah, well, that's great. Thank you so much, Ashley, for taking the time to talk. Ashley's also doing double duty as a volunteer, so thank you for your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening, but definitely going to reach back to you about your input again. Thank you so much. What's your name and your affiliation?
My name is Andrew Lara, and I'm a student at Granada Hills Charter High School.
Oh, awesome. So you're not involved in a particular neighborhood council?
Not necessarily.
Oh, cool. But you're here at the EmpowerLA Awards. Do you have any idea? Do you have a sense of what's going on here today?
I do. Very vague idea, but...
But you're volunteering because you're helping us out, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So what's your knowledge? What's your understanding of the neighborhood council system? Do you know much about it?
I mean, from a very broad perspective, all I know is that they pretty much manage the... So they have certain committees within the neighborhood council that make sure like the entire city, or
the
neighborhood is running properly.
Yeah, so the neighborhood council is kind of this extension of the city that exists at the neighborhood level, right? And they have all these committees like you're talking about. Have you been to a meeting yet?
I have shown up to a meeting, but I stayed for a very short amount of time.
Okay. But you went to an event recently. I think the neighborhood council might have something to do with it. It was a candidates forum, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What was your experience like there? Was it interesting?
I was a timekeeper.
Yeah.
And it was new. It was my first event, associated with the neighborhood council, so it was entirely new. It was a great experience, though. Yeah.
So is this kind of your first foray into kind of civic engagement stuff, or
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay, cool. What got you interested in this?
A friend, Ashley, actually got me into this entire new like getting involved in the community as well as the city.
And Ashley is a graduate of Civic Youth, and she's actually a board member of the Van Nuys Neighborhood Council. So
Okay.
that's pretty cool. She's
Yeah.
already kind of living up to that, getting people into the pipeline.
Exactly.
So do you think neighborhood council service is something you can ever do? Do you need to learn more about it first, or?
Of course I would. I'm very interested in it, but
Uh-huh.
I'm like I'm really into learning about it and getting more involved with it.
That's pretty cool. So are you a senior?
I'm a sophomore right now.
Oh, sophomore.
yeah.
You look older than you are, Andrew. I don't know, sophomore. Unless you were older, I don't know how to make
No, I
any
get that a lot,
judgments,
yeah.
but you do look a little bit older. All right, so you're a sophomore. You still got a couple more years of high school.
Yeah.
Do you envision yourself getting more involved in civic engagement? You always have to do community service hours and stuff like that. But
No, actually, at my school, I'm not mandated to do community service
awesome.
hours, but I'm more. That makes me want to do it more.
really,
For me, actually.
the
getting
reverse
involved.
psychology thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh man, that's a number we should really be pulling on other people.
Exactly.
What kind of things would you want to see in the neighborhood council system to make it attractive to young people like you, to really make it an effective use of your time?
I mean, for me specifically, Ashley got me really involved because I was already interested in it, but I had no idea how to actually get involved.
Right.
So through Ashley, I got more attached to it and more interested. But
Right.
at the same time, it was kind of still a hard process,
Mhm.
and I wasn't very well informed on it. I just feel like to get more students and youth involved, we would need like more, I guess, appealing to,
Information,
yeah,
maybe?
really, more like easier events that they can attend, just to get
Mm.
the feel of it, not just big events where they are going in completely blind.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're kind of end up
Mhm.
being anonymous, and people don't really know them
Exactly.
from what. What is there anything in particular you think neighborhood councils can do to make young people feel more comfortable at events? Is there any what is it? What is it that you would be looking for? Is it like more participation? Is it a different kind of service or something that they can do? Anything?
I mean, me personally, I feel I was just very confused. So I feel just making students more aware of what's going on and what
Right.
the purpose of the neighborhood council is would better the participation with those students, as well as these students. You want to show them how it could benefit their future in getting to know these certain things. Because that's me personally. I am joining this because I'm interested in Los Angeles, like the government,
City
and stuff
government.
like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like other students also are, but they are not very well informed on how to get involved specifically.
That's a
So
good point.
I feel
Yeah.
like putting up at least for my neighborhood council for Granada Hills neighborhood council, they meet within our school, our high school.
Oh, really?
So they could use that advantage to they could use it to their advantage to get the youth that goes to the school
Mm-hmm.
more involved, like put up flyers or something around, just to make sure that these students know what is made available to them. and
Absolutely.
increase the participation.
Yeah, I
all
think that's a
events.
great
Yeah.
idea. We are really focusing on young people now more than ever. One of the issues that previous interviewees brought up, Ashley included, was that not every neighborhood council has a youth seat. Do you know about Granada Hills? There are a couple in Granada Hills, north and south. But do you know if they have youth seats?
I'm not sure at all.
So one thing that I would encourage you to do, and I'm trying to encourage other young people, is that even if they don't have a youth seat per se, there, as Lily proved at Mid-City Neighborhood Council, there is a way to actually lobby them to change that, to say that, hey, you know what? I'm someone who's passionate and I want to be involved and I can stick it out. Because what she did and what Ashley did and others is they just showed up. They showed up to multiple meetings, showed interest, and said that, hey, if there's an opportunity, I want to take advantage of it. So even if those, for you and others, if there is no youth seat, it's still possible. Don't feel discouraged. So I hope that when you do the research, that you see that that's not the dead end. That's not the roadblock. So thank you for taking the time to do the interview. Do you have any parting thoughts about neighborhood councils or anything? Or this event?
This event seems very interesting. I'm very interested in all of this, and I'm not sure if Mayor Garcetti is going to be here, but I'm looking forward a lot to looking.
Well,
to,
I'll
to
say
meeting
this:
him.
there'll be a lot of great speakers. So when the program starts,
Mhm.
you get over there and you'll be able to see a lot of them. So I
Mhm.
hope you enjoy the rest of your time.
Yeah,
Thanks
okay.
for taking
Thank
the
you
time
so
to do the
much.
interview, Andrew. And Andrew is volunteering also, so thank you.
Yeah.
Double duty. Let everyone know your name and neighborhood council affiliation.
My name is Samantha Burg, and my neighborhood council affiliation is I'm the secretary of EC North.
Empowerment Congress North.
Empowerment Congress North, yes.
Yes. So you guys are around the USC area. Just give people a little context.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. So the theme of this year's EmpowerLA Awards is innovative civic engagement. So we're just asking people what kind of innovations they've seen. What kind of innovative things in the neighborhood council have you seen, whether at your own board or in the system as a whole? Anything come to mind?
Well, what comes to mind is my own neighborhood council. I know you brought up earlier that we have a texting service that's available to the public. And I think that's really good when it comes to communicating with people who are not on social media or don't check their emails.
Yep. And we know that represents a lot of people, to be honest.
That is a lot of people. And text messages are really convenient.
Yep.
Because it's right at your phone. You look at it and...
So what kind of information do you text them?
Well, we'll text them like our agenda dates and if any cleanups are happening, just stuff that's going around in our neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, stuff where you want people to show up ultimately, right?
Ultimately, yes.
Yeah, so that's the goal. And you guys have, a really solid presence at your meetings, but also you are one of the few boards who I know who's like always had a full board. Like very rarely is there a vacancy for longer than a couple months, which is amazing. And you came on to the board not that long ago, right? This was 2016?
Yes, I came on to the board when I graduated high school, so I was 17 when I joined it.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, we're talking to a lot of youth here today. Some people who are currently 17 who, much like you, came on, they're kind of experiencing for the first time. But by now, let's be honest, you're a veteran. You are a grizzled veteran. You've seen a lot over the past couple of years. So in this neighborhood council system, what are some of the things that have drawn you to it, like originally, and what's kind of kept you going?
Well, I've always been really involved in my community. I was an LAPD cadet.
Right.
And I just felt the urge to always bring back and give back to my community. And my mom and my sister were actually on the board, and I thought it was really cool to be a part of it.
So you are the third Burg to serve on this board.
Yes.
Which is kind of crazy.
It is really crazy.
And you're serving as a secretary. What kind of responsibilities do you have, and what do you feel to the board, in addition to the formal ones that you actually have?
Well, I mean, always feeling the need to get back to emails as fast as possible, helping the vice president and the president with whatever they need. And if anyone in the community ever needs anything, I just want to be that person who is there and is a friendly face. And if any youth want to get involved and don't know how to get involved,
right.
Have
you seen that? Do you feel that, as a young person, you've kind of signaled to the other young people that, hey, yeah, this is something you could do. This is something that we're open to having you. Have you seen that at all?
I know for sure when I post stuff on my Instagram or my social media, a lot of my friends are like, whoa, like, how did you get a part of this? Can I do this? Is this in my neighborhood? So a lot of my friends are really excited for next year when they can put in their applications and see if they can join their own boards.
I hope to see many of them. I hope that they don't get discouraged when they see that, oh, someone's already running for like a particular seat, because I think just getting out there and putting yourself out there is a great thing. I mean, that's what you did. You know what I mean? You put yourself out there. There was no guarantee you were going to get on the board. What do you say to those young people who might be hesitant about getting involved out of fear of, let's say, rejection, things like that?
Well, to be honest, when I first went to run for the board, I went for another position. I went for Area 3 representative, and I lost.
Right.
And, rejection did suck, but secretary was open, and I was like, why not? Let's roll with it, and let's do what I can do.
And you've done it. You're rolling with it.
Exactly.
So thank you for committing all this time to it. I think that's really amazing. But we know it is an intensive thing. Like, it requires, you're probably extraordinary in that you give even more than the average board member. But even in the average context, what is it about the neighborhood council system that you think is worthy of investing this much time, makes you really want to get involved? What is it?
Well, in the name itself, the neighborhood council system, it's where I live. It's my neighborhood.
Right.
What better place to better than where I live? Why not start at home? And, if we want to change the world, start where we are.
It's a great point. So what do you think going forward? You definitely have neighborhood issues you want to work on, but what's going to keep you in the system? What's going to keep you active and dedicating yourself to it?
Well, until our neighborhood is perfect and everyone's happy.
That's right. I guess there will always be need.
There will always be needs.
A need for Samantha Burg.
Well, not just Samantha Burg. I mean, need for people who care and need for people who will give their time and dedicate everything that they have to it. And, I'm just one of those people, and I'm happy to do it.
You definitely are one of those people. Thank you for coming today, for serving on the neighborhood council, for taking time to do this interview. Really appreciate it. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Even for all the grief that you give me, even it's joking. I know it's joking. It's out of love. It's okay. Thank you so much, Samantha.
No problem, Brett.
What's your name and your affiliation with the neighborhood council system?
My name is Rafe Sonnenschein. I'm the executive director of the Pat Brown Institute at Cal State LA, and you could call me probably a friend of the neighborhood council system, and the Pat Brown Institute is a friend of the neighborhood council system.
Not the godfather of the neighborhood council system.
Oh, God,
oh
no.
Boy. No,
God,
okay, we
no.
won't go that far. All right, so the theme of the EmpowerLA Awards this year is innovative civic engagement. Has there been any particular innovations that you've seen that caught your eye in the neighborhood council system in recent years?
Well, funny you should ask that, because one of them we were involved in, which is we brought the Civic U to the neighborhood councils.
You'll be happy to learn that has already been brought up unprompted. Because
Really?
That's a great innovation.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, this Civic U was put together by the Pat Brown Institute and Mayor Garcetti's office. And neighborhood council movement came to us. Gracie came to us a while ago to have us present it to the neighborhood councils, and it's become, I think, a pretty big hit. We put a lot of effort into it. So does the Dunn and the members of the neighborhood council. Get more than 100 neighborhood council members at a time. They take about 4 nights of intensive training in how the city government works and also how they can break in and have access. And our big mission in this is that people should really feel that that dotted line between the neighborhood councils and the city government becomes more of a solid line,
Right.
where you can really see what the impact is. We're getting a lot of buzz about the program. We hear about it outside LA and other places, so we're just going to keep going with it.
So you've really been a part of this system from the get-go. So you've seen the innovations and you've seen the Civic U come about. Are there anything that you would like to see in the future going forward in the neighborhood council system?
Well, I would like to see models like the Civic U be available to everybody all the time so that they keep improving their confidence and their
Right.
skills. What I would really like to see is that every neighborhood council feels like that every meeting they go to is productive, that they have a voice at City Hall, that young people are more and more involved, which I see really starting to happen effectively.
Rafe, you'd be so happy to learn that the last 5 people I interviewed are like 18 and under.
Well,
So-
this is what the country's doing right now.
That's right.
Look,
This is the
I mean,
time, right?
everybody tells each generation to wait their turn, and then the only good things happen when they don't wait their turn and just cut in the line. So they're cutting in the line, and it's a great thing, and I think it's going to be great for the neighborhood council movement.
I agree with that. So this is a system of volunteers. People give their blood, sweat, and tears to this system. You've given a lot to it. Why is it a system worth giving to? Why is it something that people should dedicate their energy to?
Well, ask yourself this: why this system was very hard to create in 1999, and then it began in 2000. It survived 18 years. It's had arrows thrown at it. It's had slingshots thrown at it. And somehow, out of all the smoke and haze, that thing is still chugging along and really showing a lot of promise. And I think it's because it responds to a deeply felt feeling in the community, especially in LA and in other cities, that people need a connection. That there's a lot of worry and complaining about government, but there is a feeling that you want to roll up your sleeves and do something about it. And I think that's an emotion that is going to save our country. So I think that thing, as long as that feeling is still there, it'll overcome cynicism, and I think that's what keeps this thing going.
Well, that's a great sentiment. Thank you for taking the time. Thanks for being a part of these awards, being a part of the system for so long. Have a great night. Do a good job. Are you emceeing? Is that your form?
I'm emceeing.
All right,
Yeah,
the
it's gonna be
MC
really
master
tough,
ceremonies
but
right
I'll
here.
do my best.
All right. Thanks so much, Ray.
All right.
Let the people know your name and your affiliation, neighborhood council.
Well, thanks for having me. I am Claudia Oliveira. I am the Historic Core Resident Director for the Downtown Los Angeles Neighborhood Council.
Oh, thanks for joining us, Claudia. Appreciate it. We're kind of riffing off this theme for the EmpowerLA Awards, which is innovative civic engagement. Are there any particularly innovative things that you've seen in the neighborhood council system, whether at your own board or kind of the system as a whole?
I think that the most evident part of how civic engagement has been working, especially with my neighborhood council, is every time we have a new selection, more and more people are wanting to participate.
Right.
Every time we have a meeting, more and more people are showing up from different parts.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that has to do with the fact that the Downtown Los Angeles Neighborhood Council, as of lately, is combining service with outreach.
Right.
So we are doing things that not only service the community
Mm-hmm.
and really, really listening, not just to our stakeholders, but future stakeholders that we would like to have to form a more solid downtown, which is ever changing. We would love to see more families. We would love to create an environment where people are looking forward and moving to downtown.
Mm-hmm.
So we are staying in the present and listening to our current stakeholders, but also looking into the future and trying to project what is it that we can create now that will be everlasting
Right.
to engage more people.
Well, you guys are pioneering a lot of service-based stuff that I would say most neighborhood councils don't do, but really out of, need, because you all have such a great need for service, and I think you do a great job of it. Is there anything in the future that you might, see the neighborhood councils doing in terms of innovation that you think maybe we need, or that D-Link in particular might need?
Well, obviously we talk about the homeless issue so much because we have Skid Row in the middle of our district, our jurisdiction, but not just that. We have been connecting with people who are doing, I don't know if you have seen wayfinding platforms that are digital,
Mm-mm.
and
No, I haven't.
it's kind of like a kiosk, and you can
Right.
put whatever information
Right.
in it.
Right.
We're trying to see if we can get some of those as test models in our neighborhood, and they can actually collect information of what people want to see more.
Yeah.
So it will be another way for us to be available for input.
That would be amazing. I think that's ambitious, and I think that neighborhood councils we are these experimental bodies. We try things that maybe you might not try at the city council level.
I
So think
actually
it's a
love
great
what
way
the
of doing
city is doing as far as trying to control the temperature, mainly because downtown is going to be so
Sure.
overheated eventually, and I
Right.
love that what they're doing with the new paint that controls the heat of the asphalt.
Yes, all of it, right?
So
So this system requires a lot of our time and energy. So I know your neighborhood council in particular, there's an endless number of ways you can spend your energy. Why spend it through this neighborhood council system? What keeps you coming back to it and dedicating your energy here?
I think that we have a great president who has been doing this for a really, really long time and is always available for me to make my life easier.
Hmm.
If you are putting so much effort and volunteering and not seeing any results, will be very, very difficult. But with us, we can see results and we can see them immediately,
Yeah.
or within a short amount of time. Also, I have a nighttime job, so to me, I have a lot of free time during the day, and I decided to use it in my neighborhood because so much is needed, and I can see how it could be improved.
Right.
And it takes a lot of time, and I don't know many other people that would be able to dedicate time to that, because it just takes so much time to do one small thing.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a special kind of person, and that's why we so appreciate our board members, and that's why we're here today, to celebrate them and honor them. So thank you for taking the time to serve in the neighborhood council, for being here today, and for doing this interview. Really appreciate it. Hope you have a good rest of the night. Thank you, Claudia.
My pleasure. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this special edition of the EmpowerLA Podcast. I want to take a moment to thank the interviewees. I hope you all enjoyed the experience. Please share this podcast and be sure to leave a review so we can thank you personally. As always, you can learn more about the Neighborhood Council system, including all the award winners, by visiting EmpowerLA.org.